Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. I have got the most incredible, simple, healthy and delicious curry recipe that is a must if you are trying to tighten your belt. Okay, so a curry recipe. Everyone loves a curry, don't they? Do you like a curry, Emily?
Oh, I love a curry.
Love a good curry, but if you're not careful, you can pile on the pounds, I think, with it if you're not too careful.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't think there's a reason why curry can't be seen as a more healthier option if you make it the way I make it. Now, first thing we're going to do is going to cook our rice. So I've got some USA whole grain rice. Now, last year I did quite a lot of work with USA Rice as a brand, and I learned a lot more about rice than I knew there was to learn. And I'll be honest, brown rice for me is a really easy switch. By the time you've cooked it, I don't think you'd even know it was brown rice. So I'm going to feed, in our house, there's 4 of us, 2 kids, 2 adults. So 2 decent cups of brown rice, and then 4 cups of water, okay? So we're gonna cook this on the absorption method.
Do you use hot water or cold water?
No, cold water.
All right, okay.
So that is my first cup in. Sorry, you'll have to bear with me, my sink's over here.
See, I use boiling water for my rice.
Right.
Should you use cold?
I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference, to be honest, Emily.
Right.
It'll start to cook a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But the key is twice as much water to rice. Get it on the heat and let it do its thing. And it's got a sort of slightly nuttier flavour, brown rice, but it's such an easy switch to get that extra sort of dose of fibre in. And what I've learned working with people like California prunes and things like that is if you up your fibre intake, all the other vitamins and minerals and things like that you consume in the day will absorb better into your bloodstream and your system and so on and so forth. So you always want to try and get that fibre content in and as high as it possibly can be. Switch into, you know, brown rice, brown wholemeal pasta, brown bread, that sort of thing. It's an easy switch if you ask me. Right, we're going to make a curry, okay? Now I've got a spice mix here, and all you need to do is scan my QR code that runs along the bottom, or go to petersidwell.com and you will get the recipe for the spice blend. It is really easy. It's like 8 spices blended together. It's absolutely delicious. Really versatile, and you can use it for all manner of things. You can stir it into a bit of yogurt and use it as a dip. You can marinate, you know, lamb, chicken, fish with it. Did the most amazing salmon biryani with it once. That was absolutely delicious. Really good. Light, fluffy rice, spiced salmon, yogurt, baby spinach. Killer recipe. Go to the website, you'll get it there. So once we've got it, that's it. It's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our sauce made, and we're not going in like loads of oil and fat and stuff like that. We're going to make this nice and light, okay? So I'm probably going to use like a tablespoon of oil, and that's it. There you go. That is all I need for this recipe. So I've got a couple of onions. So we're going to chop them nice and fine, because this is, for me, this is kind of a midweek recipe. It needs to be done and quick, or it's a good batch cook recipe. So, you know, if it's a rainy Sunday afternoon and you've got nothing else to do, you could make this, batch it up, have it for Sunday dinner in the evening, and then you've got it for the freezer or for another night later in the week.
It'd be good for lunches as well.
Yeah, get into your bake box.
Into your bake box.
Not a lunch box, a bake box, isn't it, Emily?
It's a bake box.
In West Cumbria, they call it a bake box. But I call it a bait box. It's not a bait box, is it, Emily? What is it?
It's a bait box.
It's a bait box. There's no T on the end, apparently.
Nope.
Anyway.
Can you use red onion for this?
Yeah, you could use, do you know what, whatever onions you've got in the fridge, use them. But don't go out and buy red just for this job. White onions are super cheap. They're easy, you know, they've got more flavour in them. So they're good for this sort of foundation work, which is getting the base of your curry sauce done. So you just use, you know, cheapest white onions you can get. Okay, so that's our onions chopped. Let's get those into the pan. Nice and quick. Okay. Is that chopping board all right there? And I've moved it, gone rogue. Are we good?
Push it a little bit towards me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So if you have any questions at all about today's recipe or any other of our recipes from all our other programs, please do post them in the comments below. I will answer your questions as best I can. So, give that a little stir around. I've got some diced butternut squash here. You could use sweet potato, you could use pumpkin, whatever you fancy. Get that in. And now we're going to add in our spice. Now, you will add in as much as you like, depending on how hot you like it, really. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this in. You can always add more later on as it cooks. I'm going to add a few onion seeds in there because I like the flavour, really like the flavour on those. Get those in, get them going. We'll season up with a little salt. What's your go-to curry of choice, Emily?
We've kind of like over the years just like kind of created our own recipes. Sometimes we used to use like the little pots that you can get.
Right.
But
well, what if you're in an Indian restaurant? What would you have?
Tikka masala.
Oh, you're a tikka masala girl, are you?
So they don't come into the house very often because of how much cream and oil, but it is very good.
Right. 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. That's going to be our sort of liquid. Get those in. And then I'm going to fill these with water and I'm going to add those in as well.
Is it something that you can use fresh tomatoes in?
You could, but you kind of be wasting your money.
Right.
I think for this, you really want to use cheap as chips tomatoes.
Yeah.
And just to get your sort of sauce going, really. Because there's so much flavour in there. And we'll just get this up to the heat and simmering. Now, in this kitchen here, we use AEG appliances. I've been working with AEG for over 3 years now. And I must say, induction, I am a complete convert. Love it. Having been a professional chef, always using gas on all the time, you know, in today's climate, how much energy costs is a real issue. So induction, absolutely love it. So thank you, AEG. Right, I've got coriander. You've got the leaf here. Can you see this bit, Emily?
Yep.
And then you've got the stalk. Now you cook with the stalk and you finish with the leaf, okay? So I'm going to bundle this together and chop the stalk, and we get that into the curry now. And then the leaf will go in later. But there's twice as much flavour in the stalk as there is in the leaf.
The stalk always used to be thrown away, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you smell that, Emily, it is absolutely packed with flavour. That core, that stalk. Oh. And if you smell the other end, it's like hardly any at all. There's so much flavour in the stalk, it is well worth using. Get it in nice and early, all right? Get those flavours coming together. And once this comes up to the boil, we're then going to add the chicken in. So I'll just wash my hands. We'll add a few little bits and bobs. So personal choice here, I'm going to add a little bit more, tomato flavour. So I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of puree. Be sparing with your tomato puree, because if you're not careful, it can give a sort of slightly sour taste to it. Sometimes you have to counterbalance that puree with a little bit of sweetness. But I think with a curry, you'll be absolutely fine. So that is just ticking along nicely. Chickpeas, packed full of iron, super good for you. A great way to get that sort of extra fibre, iron in there, all good. Nice bit of crunch as well. me just get a colander.
I do like chickpeas in a curry.
Yeah, I think they just give a bit. Curries sometimes are all soft. Do you know what I mean? And they're all one texture. And I think, you know, by adding some chickpeas in, you get a little bit more bite to it. Just give them a quick wash. Okay, so there we go. So that curry is just coming up. We'll get the chickpeas in, and that is just going to tick over nicely now while we look at the chicken. Now, this on its own would make an amazing curry. Don't need to add chicken to it if you don't want to. Just cook it down. When the butternut squash is soft and tender, that is when your curry is cooked. But we're doing a chicken one today, and we're going to poach the chicken. I'm just going to add a stock cube, one of those fresh stock cubes, straight in. Give a bit more depth of flavour. And now we will put our chicken in. So I'm going to put a little bit more spice in there. That'll do. And then I'm just going to take the chicken. Don't cut it too small. Right, so we're going to cut it down the middle. Can you see this all right, Emily?
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to cut it into, say, 6 pieces. And then we'll pop it in there. If you cut them, and I'm using chicken breast here because it cooks quickly and it poaches nicely. Normally I would use the chicken thighs for a curry and cook them for a lot slower, but this is, it's kind of a midweek dish, this. A quick curry. All done in half an hour type thing. So we're just gonna, if you cook the, cut the pieces into reasonable pieces, you don't want the chicken to dry out, and with chicken breast it can dry out quite easily. So it's important just to sort of 6 pieces, 6 little chunks is good. And then I'm just gonna get my hands in and just mix that spice around a little bit so that it sticks to it. There we go. And then just take the chicken and just pop it in to the curry. Okay, just gently drop it in.
So this will keep it moist and
tender. And a minimal amount of fat's being added to this because we're poaching the chicken in the sauce. So it's poached in the curry. Just a gentle cook, because really most of the flavour is coming from the sauce, not from the chicken.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave that in there. I'm just going to go wash my hands. Right, curry's on, rice is cooking. I thought I'd show you a very quick, simple naan bread because, you know, we all love a naan bread, don't we, with our curries. So, self-raising flour, okay? A little bit of yogurt, okay, just plain yogurt. You don't want strawberry yogurt in there.
Could be a whole new recipe. That
Yeah, a little pinch of salt, nigella seeds for that sort of savoury hit.
Because you kind of add any flavours to this, things like garlic or...
You can, go bananas. Do what you like. You could even, I'll tell you what might be really nice, just add a little hint of your curry powder that you've made. Just a little bit. Gives a little bit of, that'd be nice, that. Good call, Emily. Well done.
Glad to be of service.
Little splash of water, a couple of tablespoons to begin with. Get your fingertips in and just start to move the dough around, okay? And then add a touch more. You can always add more, you can't take it away. All right, so just open your fingers so you're almost like fingertips in. Now, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom or go to petersidwell.com. You will get the recipe there, or you can download our free app. There's loads of recipes there as well. All our previous shows from the whole of 2022, 2021, and there may even be the odd 2020 in there, Emily.
Possibly.
I think we've been doing this a little while now.
Yeah.
I think we're well into maybe 150 recipes.
Yeah.
Programs.
Yeah.
By now. So we've been making a few over the years now. And I must say the audience has been growing amazingly. More people are sharing the program with their friends and family and tuning in all over the world, which is amazing. So we've got a very simple dough. It's quite light. The instant you add the yogurt and the baking and the self-raising flour together, that's when things start to happen. And the sourness and the acidity of the yogurt is reacting now with the raising agent in your self-raising flour. Now, for everyone who's watching in America, and I know there's quite a few people that do watch over there, use all-purpose flour and add some baking powder to there. If you simply Google how to make self-raising flour, it will give you a simple recipe. In fact, I think Carlos has posted it before down the side, so maybe if we ask him nicely, he'll do that for us. A recipe down the side on how to make self-raising flour for those of you who don't have it, and you can make the recipe. You can make this recipe really easy. So all I've done is I've taken the dough and I've divided it into two, and I'm just gently shaping them. I'm trying not to beat the air out. I just want to press them into like little naan bread shapes or little pita bread type shapes. And these will just be so delicious with the curry. Make extra as well. Do a batch, put them in the freezer, and then all you have to do is put them in the toaster from the freezer to warm them up while you're microwaving your curry from the freezer. Batch cooking makes life so much easier.
It's the same equivalents as well for gluten-free for them as well.
Is it?
Yeah. I use yogurt for the gluten-free ones, and they come out just the same.
You can make these gluten-free as well if you so wish. It's always good to know. Right, let's wash my hands. Right, so the naan breads now, they're just sort of shaped, pita bread sort of size. I've got a pan on here, dry heat, okay? You don't need any oil. One, we're trying to make it a little bit healthier. It can give you a reason to have curry midweek instead of a weekend treat. And then we're just gonna toast them in the pan there. So they want a dry heat, and the heat is gonna make the whole puff up, and they'll be absolutely delicious. So you can see the naan breads are just sort of puffing up now. I'm gonna turn them over. Look, you can see they're just toasted. Lovely. I haven't touched them. That's taken about 2 minutes there, just toasting away. That is gonna be so delicious. Right, let's get a bowl. We're getting quite close to eating time, Emily.
Woohoo!
Let's bring the rice situation in. Should we talk rice, Emily? Look.
Yeah.
So absorption, I really struggle with that word. Absorption method. Takes me a lot of concentration. I can't say that quickly. Has worked. So this is USA brown rice, okay? It's a whole grain. I have done a 2-to-1 ratio on this. So I have put 2 cups of rice to 4 cups of water. That's it. And
does that go with any size cup?
Yeah.
Any size?
Yeah, so it's for you
double
to choose your cup, all right? But this works for a family of 4. Now, you wouldn't think that rice, like 2 cups of that would feed a family of 4, but it's the magic rice formula.
Everybody always cooks too much.
Oh, we're terrible for it. And, like, I've really disciplined myself not to put an extra cup in the pot, because I always do that, and we always end up with loads of rice, but haven't. And if you look, there's loads of rice there, and it's nice. Look how fluffy it is. Perfect. Nice, they're nearly ready.
They're very pillowy, aren't they?
Yeah, they're good. Right, let's bring our curry in, because there's a couple of things I'm going to do to finish it off. You might think I'm getting a bit weird, Emily, but...
I already knew that.
So, that looks like a normal, everyday curry, doesn't it?
Yes. Don't ruin it.
Raisins.
Oh, now.
What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, controversial.
I really like the sweetness. You don't need to cook them. Put them in at the end, because it will just absorb and soak up some of the sauce. You don't need to cook them. And what you do is you come across this little sweet nugget every so often when you're eating it. And I think it's absolutely delicious. It's at this point now where we would taste our curry, because you need to understand whether it's seasoned, if you want it to be seasoned. Has it got enough curry mix in it? And do you need to add any more powder? Does it need a bit of an oomph? Or is it too hot? In which case we'll need to add some yogurt and things like that. But we'll have a little taste. What are you giggling at, Emily? I like that.
Smells really good.
I think it needs a little bit more curry powder. Little bit. For us. But that's the beauty of it. You can add it now. Or if the kids were having it and they didn't want it as strong, you could take some out for the kids and then add a little bit more. Do you want to try? Yeah?
We'll cut this out. Start again.
Have a little taste of the sauce. See what you think. Yeah?
It's really nice, that. See, I could just have that sauce. I could just have that sauce and just with a naan bread. And just
Well, to be fair, if there is any sauce left to turn into something, you know, if you've eaten all the chicken and the squash and everything else and there's just like curry sauce left, tin of tomatoes, stock cube, turn it into soup. Delicious. Okay, so let's serve this up and we'll have a proper taste. Now, what I'm going to also serve it with, and I like this because I think it just gives that added, like, it becomes healthy, this. Good handful of spinach. Okay, I've started adding like a big handful of spinach to my dinner.
Yeah.
Just raw, eat it with whatever's cooked, and it just feels like you're eating healthily.
And you're filling yourself up with good things rather than having double the amount of rice that you would normally have.
And spinach is so much better for you raw, I think.
Yeah.
If you get baby spinach, so it's tender. Look how light and fluffy that rice is.
Wow.
Really good, okay? So, good spoonful in there. Maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to do like a third rice, a third spinach, and a third curry. And then it becomes this healthier option, I think.
And you've got a balance of each flavour and texture.
Right. Let's get some curry in there.
I do love a good curry.
I do. Right, I'm just going to move this out of the way.
Do you normally put anything on top of your curries?
Just wait a minute, young lady.
Oh.
You are an eager beaver. Yogurt. For me, I love yogurt on my curry and I just pop it straight in the middle. Because then, when you eat a curry like this, each bite, each mouthful is a little bit different. And I think curries, all too often, are just the same every single mouthful. Whereas it becomes a bit more interesting, I think. And then the good old Nigella seeds. And that, for me, is a really, really delicious, healthy alternative to a curry that you can have midweek. Now, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom or go to petersidwell.com. You will find it there. Or you can download our app in the App Store. It's free. You get all our programs, all our recipes, the whole job lot. And you get notifications on when we're going live and what we're going to be cooking. But thank you very much for watching. We're going to tuck into this and I'll see you on the next episode.